Hey, real estate agents out there, are you just fed up with the what could be wild swings in our sales cycles? You know, that 1 month that's great, and then 2 months that are like, not so good. Another good month, and then 3 months that are just horrible. It could be exhausting and just demoralizing. And if that sounds like you, then I'm imploring you to take on the 3 tips that I'm going to share on how to work with investor clients, and specifically investor clients who buy multifamily or income producing properties. It's something I've utilized for the last over a decade in my business, consistently selling over $40 million a year. I'm Guillermo Salas, former attorney turned real estate agent in the Philadelphia area. I've helped over 1,500 clients in my career, most of them investor clients. And you know, the cool thing is I've been doing it for over a decade, and in the last 2.5 years, I've been running over here in a different continent in Spain. So I'm going to share on this channel every tip, technique, system, process I've ever created that I've used to create multiple leverage businesses and multiple passive income sources that I continue to manage from a different location. And it's going to be all yours, free, easy, swipe and deploy, and put it into your business. So if you like the content, please hit like, subscribe to my channel, and really, hit that bell button up there, get the notifications so you hear about all the content before anybody else. So let's jump into it. First, before I share the 3 tips, why should we be working with investor clients? Well, yeah, honestly, the sales cycle part of it is because on average, if we're working with just residential agents, they tend to buy or sell every 5 to 7 years. The cool thing about multifamily and by the way, when I say multifamily, I mean people who are buying duplexes, triplexes, but also single family homes, right? So we'll just group it all together. Those types of people, instead of buying every 5 to 7 years, they're buying 1 or 2 properties every year. And so by virtue of that, that's going to normalize your sales cycle, right? And the cool thing is they also going to buy in any market, right? When your residential clients are like, oh, I don't know, the interest rates are too high, inflation is too much, you know, that kind of thing. Investor clients are like, opportunity, right? They see opportunity in any market. And so that's another reason why you want to make that part of your lead gen, because it will stop all those wild cycles. And the cool thing is, if if you're like the rest of us, you know, they're probably people that you know, they're in your sphere of influence, and so you like them, and you're helping them achieve their income goals, right? Literally, you're not a real estate agent, you're a dream maker. Oftentimes, these folks are looking for some way to fund something in their lifestyle, and it's just going to be much more enjoyable in terms of a sales career. So another reason you want to work with them is you're helping them achieve their dreams. A lot of these folks have income goals or aspirations, and by helping them buy investment properties, you're helping them get there. And oftentimes there's somebody that you know, and if you know them, you probably like them, right? Yeah, at least we hope you do. And so rather than build this huge database of people, fund the pipeline and have thousands and thousands, you can just work with a handful. And in my case, I work with less than 300 people to build my consistent business over the years. All right, so that's the why. Let's jump into the tips. Number 1 tip is just speak the language. Understand the terminology. And there's a lot of terminology, but I'm going to simplify it. Know what a cash flow analysis is, right? If you know that, then you can go and present opportunities to your prospects that are profitable. That's the key. Right, and so what's a cash flow analysis? Let's break it down. Number 1 is money comes in. So that's going to be the income. That's going to be the rent part of things. Then a bunch of stuff gets subtracted from it. So you've got your income coming in. That's the rent. Then you're going to subtract what we call the operating expenses. That's things like taxes and trash. Maybe there's a property management company. There's leasing. Again, another reason why you might want to do this is you help them buy the property. They might need somebody to lease it for them, and that person could be you. So not only do you get the commission on the sale, but most likely you start picking up some rental income as well, which again normalizes the sales cycle. Anyway, but let's go back to the cash flow. That's income. The rent comes in. You start subtracting a bunch of the expenses that are associated with the property. And then the last thing that you deduct is if they get a loan, the debt, right? The principal that you got to pay every month plus the interest. And so when you take that, top line, subtract, whatever left over is the cash flow and the profit. And so you can talk about it sort of at an aggregate level, where this is the total amount that my property will cash flow over the year, or you can talk about it in terms of a percentage. Sometimes we do that, right? And so we'll say, here's the amount of money that we had to put out, and that typically is your down payment and your transaction costs, maybe just transfer tax, and do that as a percentage of the amount of money that comes free and clear, the cash flow. And sometimes you'll hear people say, well, all right, well, that's a 10% rate of return or a 10% cash flow. That's sort of the target. Like I want to get somebody in that double digits, ideally. So number one, go learn and understand what a cash flow analysis is. And of course, if there's some great resources that I'll share with you. There's Reset for that. Great book, changed my life. Read it back in 2000, right when I was worried about, losing my job as a lawyer because there was no business happening at that time. I was like, well, I got to figure something else out and I'm going to check out this real estate thing. Rich Dad Poor Dad was a just life-changing book for me. The other book that I would recommend to read is Hold. I actually spoke on stage with the authors of Hold on how to work with investors or how to build a real estate portfolio. So those two books are great, easy reads to learn how to quote unquote, speak the language. But the cash flow piece should be easy. And the other thing I will offer is I've created and I love this thing. I'm sort of a spreadsheet nerd. I have this spreadsheet that you just plug in the numbers. It's dummy proof. You plug it in there and then you use that in step number 2, which I'll talk about in a second. But like, if you want that, just DM me, message me. I actually have a link to schedule a consultation with me. You can jump on that and I'll make sure that you get that spreadsheet. So step number 1 is just speak the language, understand what a cash flow analysis is so that you can identify profitable opportunities for your client. So step number 2 is just build a database, right? You should be out there talking to everybody about, hey, be an investor, who wants to be an investor, who's thought about investing in real estate. And the cool thing is, some of us will be like, well, I don't know any investors. Yeah, you do. Like literally, I found that 90% of the people out there in the world are just unhappy in their jobs. Right? Well, maybe not 90%, but like what I found is 90% of people fall into one of the 3 categories. Don't love their job and will do anything other than that job and are doing that job because they have no other way to make money. So if you provide them an option that was enjoyable or better than their day job, they would jump on it. Number 2 is that they're trying to fund maybe if they have kids, their kids' education, or number 3 is that they're thinking about, retiring at some point. And the thing is, you got to plant the seeds now for the future. So building that database is like just hear and listening out for those identification points. Somebody who's unhappy in their job or has to save or wants to build a nest egg or a education fund for something down in the future. And those are just examples, but literally need to build some sort of income stream for something down in the future. That's pretty much everybody in walk of life. And so you're going to build this CRM in this database and you're going to put it into your CRM. And in your CRM, you're going to tag them as investors, right? And that's important because the step number 3 is the system that you're going to execute. Very simple system. And this is probably the most important part of the 3 steps piece because it's going to make you stand out from the other agents out there. Let me do this. This is like flash warning. Do not be the agent that just saves searches on MLS, automatic searches on MLS, and sends them to your clients. That is lazy and you will not build a business based on investors. So step number 3 is build a system that will literally get clients to be like, hey, you know what? I want to go see that property. And so here's how the system works. Number 1, every Monday, or actually before Monday, you're going to create what I call hot sheets. They may not even call that in your MLS, but it's literally all the new investment properties that are hitting the market right then and there, right? So save that surge, save that hot sheet so that you get notified immediately when it happens. On Monday, you're going to sit down and you're going to do the cash flow analysis. If you want my spreadsheet, reach out to me and I'll share that with you. You're going to do the analysis and find out which properties of those that hit the market are actually profitable. So that's the first part of the system. The analysis, do the spreadsheet, and then you're going to save that as a separate file. Step number 2 is you're going to probably subscribe to something called, there's a service that I use called Rent-A-Meter. I don't make any money out of it. I just know it just simplifies my life. So rather than doing a bunch of rental comps, what you do is you put the address of the subject property into the field, and it spits out all the rental properties that sold in that circumference that match up with that. And the reason you want to do that is you're going to send the cash flow analysis eventually to your clients, but you want to support it with data, right? You can go do that through MLS if you want to save some money, go for it. Not a problem. I'm just talking about sort of saving a little bit of time. So interested in making 30% rate of return on your money, rather than maybe, 0.001 in your bank account. I don't know about you, but 30% versus 0.001, I might lean towards that 30%. So you're going to send that email, big bold letters. Hey, make 30% rate of return on your money. Lay out all the information summarized, like here's the MLS sheet, here's the cash flow analysis that I already did for you, here are the rental comps to support you. And you want to go extra mile, you can even put rental comps for that property, not sales comps for that property to justify the price that's being asked for. So do all that, send the email, and just sit back and wait for the clients to come to you. That's it. That's literally the system that I use to sell 40 million plus every single year for more than a decade. And that's the majority of what I did, was send those types of emails and have my clients reach out to me. That's it. Learn the language is tip number 1. Number 2, build a database. Step number 3 is build a simple system and then send that information off to your clients and watch the money roll in. That's it. Thank you so much for listening. If you like this content, please, again, subscribe. Reach out to me if you want to go deeper on this, because there is some stuff, especially on learning the language stuff. There's a couple more metrics, things like cap rate and things of that sort. If you want to learn more about that, hit me up on my calendar and let's schedule a consultation and we can go through it together. In the meantime, and until the next video, go out there and cause and create miracles. Have a great day.